Have you ever dreamed of wandering through ancient castles, hiking to jaw-dropping viewpoints, and maybe even spotting a legendary monster all in one epic trip? If the answer is yes, then you're in the right place. And the next 7 days, we're taking you on a journey through Scotland that's packed with adventure, history, and a few surprises you won't want to miss. From the vibrant streets of Glasgow to the wild beauty of the Isle of Skye, this is the ultimate Scottish road trip. Ready to discover the magic of Scotland? Let's get cracking! Before hitting the road, let's kick things off with some history in Glasgow. Start your day with a visit to the Glasgow Cathedral, also known as St Mungo's Cathedral, one of the few Scottish cathedrals to have survived the Reformation intact. Built in the 12th century, this Gothic masterpiece is still an active place of worship today. As you walk through its grand nave and under the stunning stained glass, you'll feel the weight of its history, especially when you visit the crypt, where St Mungo himself is buried. Next door is Necropolis, a sprawling Victorian cemetery that's often compared to Paris's Père Lachaise, with over 3,500 monuments and graves dating back to the 19th century. It's a fascinating, if slightly eerie, place to explore, and the views over the city, absolutely worth the climb. Now that you've had your fill of history, it's time to escape the city and head into the great outdoors. A short 45-minute drive takes you to Loch Lomond and the Sussex National Park, Scotland's first national park, established in 2002. Known for its breathtaking scenery, this park is a haven for hikers, boaters, and anyone looking to disconnect from the hustle and bustle. Loch Lomond itself is the largest freshwater loch in Scotland, stretching over 22 miles with more than 30 islands scattered across its surface. Start your Loch Lomond adventure with a boat tour departing from Bailick or Luss. These tours offer a chance to see the loch's beauty from the water, with stops at some of its most famous islands, including Inchmurrin, the largest island, and Inchcailloch, a nature reserve with a fascinating history dating back to the medieval times. Keep your eyes peeled for wildlife, including ospreys, otters, and the occasional deer swimming across the loch. After your boat tour, head to the picturesque village of Luss, on the western shore of Loch Lomond, known for its charming stone cottages and stunning floral displays. Luss feels like a postcard come to life. For your first night stay, check into the Loch Lomond Arms Hotel, a traditional inn that dates back to the 18th century, with cozy rooms, a welcoming pub, and locally sourced dishes like venison and fresh fish. And it's the perfect spot to relax after a day of exploring. If the weather permits, enjoy dinner outside. With the views of the loch, it doesn't get much better than this. On day 2, we're heading west towards Oban, but not before making a pit stop in Inveraray, a town that looks like it belongs on a shortbread tin. Inveraray is famous for its beautiful Georgian architecture, and as a seat of Clan Campbell, one of Scotland's most powerful clans. Inveraray Castle, the ancestral home of the Duke of Argyll, is an absolute must-see. This castle has been the Campbell family's home since the 18th century and features a mix of Gothic, Palladian, and Baroque architecture. Inside, you'll find a treasure trove of historic artifacts, including weapons, tapestries, and even a collection of clan kilts. After exploring the castle, take a short walk to the Inveraray Jail, one of Scotland's best-preserved 19th century prisons. Now a living museum, it gives you a glimpse into what life was like for prisoners more than 150 years ago. The actors here are so convincing, you might start to wonder if you've accidentally broken the law. You can explore the old prison cells, the courtroom, and even the execution chamber. Just try not to get too comfortable in those jail cells. Continue your journey to Oban, often called the gateway to the Isles. This bustling port town is known for its scenic harbor and as a departure point for ferries to the Hebrides. It's also famous for its seafood, particularly its fresh shellfish. For dinner, stop by the Waterfront Fish House restaurant, where you can enjoy local specialties like mussels, scallops, and langoustines with views of the bay. For your overnight stay, check into the Pearl Oban Hotel, a boutique hotel located right in the heart of the town. The hotel offers stylish, modern rooms with a view over the harbor, as well as a Mediterranean-inspired restaurant, Bob, which is perfect if you're looking to mix things up after all that Scottish fare. After dinner, take a stroll along the Esplanade and soak in the views of the bay, especially at sunset. It's one of the most picturesque spots in Scotland. Day 3 starts with a ferry ride to the Isle of Mull, the second largest island in the Inner Hebrides. That ferry crossing takes about 45 minutes, giving you time to take in the stunning views of the surrounding islands and the rugged coastline. Mull is known for its dramatic landscapes, including Ben More, the island's only Munro, which towers over 3,000 feet. But today, we're focusing on Mull's charming towns and villages. Once you arrive on Mull, make your way to Tobermory, the island's capital and one of the most colorful towns in Scotland, literally. Tobermory's harbor is lined with brightly painted buildings that are instantly recognizable and have become one of the island's most famous sights. The town is also known for its local distillery, Tobermory Distillery, which produces both whiskey and gin. Take a tour and sample some of their finest spirits before grabbing lunch at Cafe Fish, a highly rated seafood restaurant that is located right on the harbor. After exploring Tobermory, take the scenic drive across Mull to the port of Loch Lomond, where you'll catch another ferry to the Isle of Skye. This part of the journey offers some of the most stunning views of the Hebrides, with rugged cliffs, deep blue seas, and maybe even a dolphin or two if you're lucky. Once you arrive on Skye, you'll quickly see why this island is considered one of Scotland's crown jewels. Arrive in Portree, the largest town on Skye, known for its picturesque harbour surrounded by colourful buildings. Check into the Bosville Hotel, a beautiful hotel that offers comfortable rooms with a contemporary Scottish twist. The hotel's restaurant, Dos and Bros, served up with dishes made from local ingredients including fresh seafood and Skye lamb. After dinner, take a walk around Portree's harbour and soak in the evening views. It's a peaceful end to a day filled with travel and exploration. Day 4 is all about discovering the natural wonders of Skye. Starting with the Old Man of Storr, this iconic rock formation is one of the most famous landmarks on the island, and the hike to the top is a must-do for anyone visiting Skye. The trail is about 3.8 kilometers, 2.5 miles round trip, and takes you through a landscape that looks like something out of a fantasy novel. At the summit, you'll be rewarded with panoramic views over the Sound of Rossay and the surrounding islands. Just be sure to hold onto your hat, as it can get windy up there. Next up is Quiraing, a landslip on the Triturnus Ridge that offers some of the most dramatic scenery in Scotland. Quiraing is a geological wonder with towering cliffs, hidden plateaus, and surreal rock formations that make you feel like you've stepped onto another planet. The hike here is about 6.8 kilometers, 4.2 miles, and takes you through some of the most breathtaking landscapes on the island. Don't forget your camera, you'll want to capture every moment. After tackling the Quiraing, head to the fairy pools, a series of crystal clear pools and waterfalls at the foot of the Black Culloden Mountains. Located near the village of Glenbrittle, the fairy pools are one of the most magical spots on Skye, with their bright turquoise waters and dramatic mountain backdrop. While the water is usually too cold for swimming, it's a fantastic place for a hike and some stunning photography. Legend has had it that fairies once bathed in these pools, and after seeing them, you just might believe the stories. After a day of exploring Skye's natural wonders, make your way to the Dewsdale House Hotel on the southern part of the island. This 19th century mansion-turned-hotel offers luxurious accommodations with a blend of modern comforts and traditional charm. The hotel's fine dining restaurant serves up the dishes made with the locally sourced ingredients. And the cozy lounge with its roaring fire is the perfect spot to relax with a glass of whiskey after a day of adventure. You'll sleep soundly in your plush bed dreaming of the fairies you may or may not have seen. On day 5, it's time to leave Skye and head back to the mainland, but not before stopping at one of Scotland's most iconic castles, Eilean Donan. Perched on an island at the intersection of 3 lochs, Eilean Donan is one of the most photographed castles in the world, and it's easy to see why. The castle dates back to the 13th century and has been lovingly restored after being partially destroyed during the Jacobite risings. Inside, you'll find a fascinating museum that tells the story of the castle and the Clan MacRae, who have called it home for centuries. Don't forget to cross the stone bridge to get the classic photo of the castle reflected in the water. It is a must. Next, we're heading to Loch Ness, home to one of the world's most famous and elusive monsters, Nessie. While sightings of the Loch Ness Monster are rare, the loch itself is a sight to behold. Stretching 23 miles through the Great Glen, Loch Ness is the largest body of fresh water in Britain by volume, containing more water than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. Take a cruise on the loch to see it from the water and visit the ruins of Urquhart Castle, which have stood on the shores of Loch Ness for over 1,000 years. If you don't spot Nessie, at least you'll have seen some of Scotland's most beautiful landscapes. After your monster hunting adventure, head to Inverness, the capital of the Highlands. Check into Rockpool Reserve Hotel, a luxurious boutique hotel located near the River Ness. With its contemporary decor, stylish rooms, and an award-winning restaurant, Chez Roux, Rockpool Reserve is the perfect place to unwind after a day of exploring. Take a walk along the River Ness or explore the city's historic sites, including Inverness Castle and St. Andrew's Cathedral, before returning to the hotel for a night of relaxation. Day 6 begins with a visit to the Culloden Battlefield, the site of the last battle fought on British soil. On April 16, 1746, the Jacobite forces of Bonnie Prince Charlie were defeated by the British Army, marking the end of the Jacobite uprising. The battlefield is a somber place with memorials to the fallen and a visitor center that tells the story of the battle through interactive exhibits and artifacts. Walk the battlefield trail and imagine the scene that unfolded here nearly 300 years ago. It's a powerful reminder of Scotland's turbulent history. Just a short drive from Culloden, you'll find Cleibh Cairns, a prehistoric burial site that dates back over 4,000 years. This site consists of 3 large cairns surrounded by standing stones, and is believed to have been used for burials and rituals during the Bronze Age. The stones are covered in lichen and moss, giving them an otherworldly appearance, and the site's peaceful atmosphere makes it a great place to reflect on Scotland's ancient past. If you're a fan of Outlander, you'll recognize the Cleibh Cairns as inspiration for the fictional Craig na Dun. Just don't try to touch the stones, unless you want to end up back in 1743. Continue your journey south to Pitlochry, a charming Victorian town nestled in the heart of Perthshire, known for its stunning setting on the River Tummel and its proximity to some of Scotland's most famous whisky distilleries. Pitlochry is a popular destination for travelers. For dinner, head over to the Old Mill Inn, a family-run restaurant and bar that serves a hearty Scottish fare with a side of live music. After a day of exploring, there's nothing better than relaxing with a pint and some traditional tunes. For your overnight stay, check in the Donan Castle Hotel, a luxurious retreat set in a historic castle overlooking Loch Lomond. The hotel's rooms are a blend of traditional elegance and modern comfort, and the spa is a perfect place to unwind after a day of sightseeing. If you're feeling fancy, book a table at the hotel's fine dining restaurant Sandman's, where you can enjoy dishes made with locally sourced ingredients in a truly grand setting. After dinner, take a stroll around the castle grounds and enjoy the peaceful atmosphere. You're living the Scottish dream. Don't go anywhere. We've got one more day of Scottish adventure ahead, and trust us, it's going to be epic. Stay tuned for whiskey, wildlife, and a farewell you won't forget. On your final day, start with a visit to Blair Castle, a striking white-walled fortress that has become home to the Dukes of Atholl for over 700 years. The castle's interior is a treasure trove of history with rooms filled with antiques, weapons, and even a ballroom that once hosted Queen Victoria. The castle's vast grounds are home to the last remaining private army in Europe, the Atholl Highlanders, who still parade here every year. After touring the castle, take a walk through the extensive gardens where you'll find everything from formal terraces to peaceful woodland trails. If you're lucky, you might even spot one of the estate's famous Highland cows. Just try not to get too close. They might be photogenic, but they're not camera shy. Next, stretch your legs with a walk through the Hermitage, a beautiful forest reserve just outside of Dunkeld. The woodland trails lead you past towering Douglas firs, some of the tallest trees in Britain, picturesque waterfalls, and the stunning Ocean's Hall, view of the Black Lynn Falls. It's the perfect spot to breathe in some fresh air and reflect on your Scottish adventure before heading to the nearest distillery, of course. A trip to Scotland would be complete without a wee dram of whiskey, so we're ending our journey with a visit to Edradour Distillery, the smallest traditional distillery in Scotland. Located near Pitlochry, Edradour has been producing whiskey since 1825, and its small batch handcrafted approach makes it a favorite among connoisseurs. Take a tour of the distillery, learn about the whiskey making process, and of course, sample a few drams. The distillery's signature 10-year-old single malt is a must-try, and you can even pick up a bottle or two to take home as a souvenir. By the end, you'll be toasting Slen Cheval like a true Scot. As the day comes to a close, make your way back to Glasgow, where our journey began. Whether you're heading home or continuing your travels, take a moment to savor the memories of the past week, because you've just experienced some of the best that Scotland has to offer. If you've got time, make a final stop at the Riverside Museum, Glasgow's award-winning transport museum, or grab a bite at Finiston, a trendy seafood and gin bar in the city's hippiest neighborhood. For your final night, why not end on a high note? Head to the lively pub like the Horseshoe Bar for one last pint, or treat yourself to a fancy dinner at one of Glasgow's top restaurants like the ubiquitous Chip, known for its inventive Scottish cuisine. Either way, raise a glass and toast to an unforgettable Scottish adventure. And that's a wrap on our 7-day Scottish road trip. You've conquered castles, hiked to epic viewpoints, met some very photogenic sheep, and maybe even spotted Nessie? Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on more travel tips, adventures, and of course, sheep selfies. Until next time, safe travels.